A new audit reveals that at least half of President Joe Biden's Twitter followers are fake. That's right. Out of his 22.3 million Twitter followers, 49.3% of them are bot accounts, according to audit tool provided by software company SparkToro. The company based its findings on a number of factors. This included location issues, default profile images, and new users. Now, if you take a look at the president's Twitter page, his 22.3 million followers only provide him with a couple of thousands of likes. But he isn't alone. Many liberal Twitter accounts claim to have thousands, even millions of followers. Here's looking at you, Chuck Todd. But they fail to attract at least 1% of interactions. For an example, left-wing extremist Keith Olbermann claims to have nearly 1 million followers, but struggles to attract 100 likes on many of his posts. Even the New York Times claims to have 53 million followers, or scrapping up a couple of thousand likes. How is that even possible? Probability would tell you it's not. So let's ask the editor-in-chief of Buca Lupo, Sophia Carbone. Sophia, I smell something fishy.
Thanks for having me, Emerald. It's definitely, we've talked about this in the past with TikTok and different social media platforms, but there's a huge trend amongst these big tech giants to push liberal ideology, to push these blue checks. The blue check brigade is always coming out strong, and they're not producing the numbers, like you said, that they're following claims to have. And you see this consistently, like you said, everything from pundits and commentators to politicians, the president of the United States, and the New York Times. These are accounts that claim to be, of the people, by the people, and for the people, and they're really not rallying the likes and the retweets. And it seems very trivial to people who aren't into social media, but engagement's important. And it really doesn't matter how many people you have following you, what that number is. If those accounts are fake, if the followers are bot, what really matters is your ability to produce and share content. And if you are not getting those engagement numbers and the followers are just for show, it speaks to a broader disconnect across the American people.
Yeah, when I would talk to publishers about book deals, they would want to see my number of impressions per month on Twitter. So that involves all the engagement, who's liking, retweeting, talking about you. And I have a story for you, Sophia, that'll make you laugh. Like you said, this really matters to people in the media, right? And I recall sitting in the White House in the press room beside a corporate media reporter for, a really big outlet. And she was going, "Oh my goodness, I'm going viral. I'm going viral." And I looked, she had 300 likes on a tweet instead of 5. And I chuckled to myself a little bit. I had to. And I have went through and looked at all these accounts like Chuck Todd and others who claim to have millions of followers and just get no interaction whatsoever. What do you say that signals about the true sentiment of people in America? If they can't get that engagement, but conservative accounts, when I was on Twitter, I always got in the thousands, and they would restrict the number of followers I could have, but my engagement level still remained really high. And that was the same across the board, honestly, Sophia, for people that was seen more on the conservative side. So what does that say about public opinion?
It definitely says that, public opinion, even if they're restricting our followers, if they're not letting us engage on social media to our full potential as conservatives, the people are still engaging with our content. They're still seeking it out. They're still sharing it, reposting it, liking it. They're looking at our profiles, even if Twitter is not letting them hit that follow button. Whereas the follow button doesn't seem to be a problem for the left, for the bots, the fake accounts, the sketchy accounts, the unverified users. But their engagement does. Like you said, they cannot get 50 likes on a post. Having 300 likes is a big deal for them, whereas small conservative influencers are getting thousands of likes on every single post they put up. So it's definitely saying that people are engaging more with the conservative messaging, conservative content, and they're seeking it out. They're trying to find it, despite all these big tech companies pushing the blue checks, pushing the liberal content, the liberal propaganda, and really trying to make these platforms liberal echo chambers.
Yeah, anonymous accounts like Cat Turd the Ministry of Truth, which is a relatively new one, is more influential than any of those big corporate media people and even Democrats. Look at Joe Biden's following. And I know that scares them, because I think it actually signals that more Americans tend conservative in their beliefs, despite everything we see in polling and what they try to tell us about our elections. Sophia, it's good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.